So over the past couple of days, there's been a lot of AI slop that's been posting up and taking off online because of the sheer fact that it's starting to get a little bit harder to tell what is actually AI and what isn't. But I don't even think that's not even the case with this one. I think it's pretty obvious that this one is AI when you just look at it all together. But regardless of it, the reason why this clip that I'm going to show you today has taken off is just because this isn't something that people imagine or think of when it comes to AI slop in this current day and time. Yes, we can always point and laugh at a lot of the AI slop that looks very clearly AI and looks bad, but the reason why this one in particular started to take off was just because a lot of people at first glance, which a lot of people who are very online doesn't think about or doesn't consider, a lot of people who are just scrolling or just looking at things at a quick glance never really think that hard about what they're looking at, and they like, oh wow, this looks interesting. But of course, if you sat down and you look at it and you watch the entire clip, which is like 10 minutes long, it starts to become very clear that this is AI slop. It's very clearly AI slop. And the fact that no one even called it out on the initial post itself is already kind of intriguing. Let me show you that. So this was the post that originally came on my feed, and it said, release my first original anime, script, storyboard, design, editing, and background music. No production committee involved. Everything was done by just 2 people. This is a 10-minute pilot version. Watch the main episode via the link in my profile. Please check it out. Now, there should already be some red flags here saying that only 2 people did this. Apparently, all this was done by 2 people, and I guess they're one of the people who did this. They did this quote-unquote script, the storyboard, the design, the editing, and background music. Now, I want to be clear. It's not to say that someone can't do that as a solo project. It is very clearly possible, but typically if there's going to be a track record that people can find for you, they could clearly see it, like some type of credibility, reputation behind you that sort of shows like, hey, you've been doing this for a while, because no one gets to that point right off the bat. Normally you're going to stumble quite a bit before you get to a point where just even when you look at this alone in this thumbnail, technically, like if you were just look at this blatantly and just think about, wow, all right, they said they're making this is what they're creating, really? Oh boy, like, and again, I just want to clarify this because a lot of people always get this confused in my videos. You need to remember, I have already seen all this beforehand. That's the reason why I make these videos. I don't just look at something and say, oh, all right, well, I'm gonna make a video and hopefully something's gonna happen as I record this. No, I look at all this beforehand, so there's a little bit of knowledge that goes behind this before I even hit record. Anyways, they do also get called out for this being AI eventually. You can see it down here, the area community noted, which we're going to read their post out a little bit. But here's someone saying, it's amazing that you can make one in 10 minutes. It took me about 7 hours to make a 1-minute animation. That's impressive. And they said, thank you. We also are spending an average of 4 to 5 hours to produce 1 minute. Whilst parallel work with system development, it's getting faster day by day, and the quality is improving too. So now we're taking our time to task and convert quality into experience in scripts. And they said, is this Blender? It looks so vibrant and lively. I'm blending multiple tools and methods. That is the easiest way to try and avoid saying that you use AI. That is, hey, you know what? Hey, masterclass dodging answer right there, dog. That's a masterclass answer right there. Wow. Holy. That is a response if I have ever heard one in my life. But you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm jumping the gun. I know you're punching your monitor. You're punching your keyboard. You're like, sorry, show me the fucking clip already. And I got you, dog. I'll show you the clip. Roll it.
浮気じゃんイケメンの修羅場
So that's a little teaser. That's a little taste. There's more to it. I don't know if I'm going to bother showing you the whole thing. There's no real reason to. I will at least show you the YouTube post and just kind of scroll ahead and show you a little bit. But I will say that off initial impressions, this doesn't really. Maybe it's because I just don't understand Japanese. I don't understand how this is supposed to be a pilot. This, to me, when I look at something like this, it comes off as, I mean, we already saw it with this, right? When you put all this, it feels like someone who's just giving themselves false titles to make themselves sound bigger and important than they really are without actually understanding what those titles are. You notice that a lot when it comes to AI bros using AI and trying to say, I'm a musician, I'm an artist, I'm a director, I'm a producer. And they're just using words. They're using titles without actually understanding the meaning behind it. And they just want to sound fancy and sound like they're doing important, cool things that, you know, actual real creatives are actually in those positions doing. And they don't actually understand it. For this to be a pilot, for this to be their introduction to whatever the fuck this even is, just it seems lackluster. It already seems pretty stupid. It just seems like someone who is genuinely just generating a bunch of random clips and different scenes and just put it all together into this 10-minute slop fest and say, all right, there you guys go. I hope you enjoy this. That is quite literally what this is ultimately, at least in my personal opinion, from what I see. Now, you might have a different opinion, and if so, you're more than welcome to have it. This is just my first impressions, and again, maybe if you know Japanese, maybe you're fucking pogging at this shit and you think this is the greatest thing in the world so far from what I've shown you. But I would say that there's nothing like, let's just watch a little bit more. Let's just watch together and see.
他の女と一緒に寝てたわけでしょ。ねえ、どうなのよ。だからエッチしただけで浮気じゃないって。そもそも裸で寝ちゃっただけっていうか、起きたら裸だっただけで脱いだ記憶はないっていうか、そもそも赤ちゃんだって裸じゃん。じゃあ言ってみて。何からが浮気？早く！誰かの心を裸にした時さ。やば！
Yeah, like I don't know. Maybe there's just some humor I'm missing, something I'm not getting. Let me translate all these to English and let's see what some of these replies are, because I'm actually genuinely curious. What are people saying here? Now, just as a reminder, these are Google Translate, so these are probably not going to be, I don't even know why I said probably, they're not going to be one accurate. So just keep that in mind as I read these. So the account behind this says this is the first anime we have ever made. You're doing Sea Dance is really doing a lot of the heavy lifting for you. You didn't really make much, but sure. They said they put their hearts and souls into it, just the two of them. They said since we're a small team, whether we can make a sequel to the story depends on how many people watch it. Our goal is 500,000 views. If you would like to see more, we would be grateful for your support by liking the video, leaving comments, and subscribing to our channel. Someone said you forgot to add the AI generated label. They said, I think it's amazing how high quality it is, but the character designs and facial expressions are so similar to Disney and Pixar animations. Probably obvious because they're using AI, and AI is just making stuff what it's trained off of in their data set. It says, which are the source of AI's learning. That's a little worrying. AI faces are too much. It says that sums it up perfectly. I feel nothing but disgust. Shun's ideology is way too strong. Don't know what the fuck that means. Says the story was rather shallow for about 10 minutes, leaving little to say other than AI is amazing, until suddenly a character clearly symbolizes as a pretty girl appeared and urged viewers to subscribe to the channel, which was the funniest part. To be honest, the character's words and actions seemed to be random, without any regard for context, and the story itself felt shallow and lacking in substance. It feels like the slapstick movements and forceful way to the character spoke were what kept it going. So at 2:13, the scene abruptly changes after how do you make a movie, and I suppose they boldly skipped over the intermediate steps. It made it a comedic because they couldn't explain the entire process in such a short time. But even so, I wonder what the brown hair, glasses wearing guy's feelings were when he helped the girl in the rooftop scene afterwards, and what kind of people they are. What was the situation before they could even explain? Like, they're just pretty much they're just roasting this entire thing. That's literally what this is. And I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, it's what I was mentioning earlier. There's no actual cohesion. It's just, again, an AI bro who is just putting a bunch of titles above their head without actually understanding the purpose behind them and why people fill those roles and what actually makes a true pilot. There's nothing here other than in this hold up, sorry, it's a little hard to see. There's nothing here in this slop that shows anything of quality. It's just like, hey, I managed to use AI and put a bunch of clips together. Please like this, guys. Like, brother, what do you mean you want 500,000 views for this? All you did was generate clips and then you pieced them together. There is genuinely nothing of substantial quality here that is supposed to make someone say, holy fuck, what the hell? This is amazing. There's no story, there's no cohesion, there's nothing of actual substance here that makes sense for someone. And I think that is the biggest thing that is not being understood by these people here. And I'm not surprised because they're just making AI slop. So the idea of actually creating something like an actual genuine story doesn't make sense to them. But, like that's the biggest thing with this dog. Like, it's just literal trash. It's literal trash with no actual substance or quality built around it to actually tell a real story. And all they're trying to do is go based off funny, angry moments like, oh, look how funny is she? She's so mad. She's so angry. Oh my God, look how mad she is. And, like that's literally it. But yeah, and then of course they finally replied back and they explained their quote unquote process. So we'll take a look at that. And they said, I created 991 cuts, but only 152 cuts appeared on the screen. I created 2,288 takes. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. They didn't create anything. They generated, all right? Replace the word created with generated. They're trying to use certain words, and let's be charitable. Maybe it's Google Translate. Google Translate could be causing some of these issues, sure. But they were generated. These are generated takes, not created. You didn't create anything, but let's continue on. So they said they created 2,288 takes and 160 were adopted. Things I tried to improve this adoption rate. Try creating the movement first and generate. The video model used as the base is C-Dance 2.5. And so this is them showcasing their quote unquote workflow. And just take a look at yourself. So from my understanding, what they did was they just fed into AI. They like generated like base scenes of the action that they wanted in the actual, I guess, video itself. And then they would go back around and tell the AI to now turn that into what the character that they have. And that's what like all the text is in the middle. I don't know anything why you would be proud for this. I don't know what reason there is to even want to do this and make it look like you did all this yourself. I think that's pretty pathetic, and I think that is pretty embarrassing. Like it's just so stupid. I think it's just so it's extreme. That's the word I'm looking for. It's extreme. Like the time that you're using, like, brother, really 2,000 and you generate 2,288 takes in that time, brother. You could probably just use that to actually learn how to do this thing and then actually be able to make what you really want to make instead of relying on a video generation tool to hopefully make what you want. And even then, after you did all of this, people still didn't like it because it's just ultimately slop and there's nothing of substance to it. But I just wanted to talk about this real quick because this is stupid. I've never seen someone be so proud and then also make such ridiculous demands like this, saying 500,000 views for something like this when you didn't really do anything. And I know that's sure to probably ruffle some AI bros feelings when it comes to something like this, saying that they didn't do anything, but you really didn't. You didn't create this. None of this is done by you. All you did was generate it, and then all you did was piece clips together. That's not creating anything. That's literally not. Like that is actually insane. That is like taking the YouTube creators videos, let's say Moist Critical, and I take all his videos and I just put them all in Windows Movie Maker and I put them all back to back, and now I said, hey, look guys, I created a Moist Critical video. No. You just put some clips together and upload it online, but you didn't actually make anything with those clips. Like, it's so stupid, dog. Anyways, I'll leave it here. Let me know what you think in the comments.